The lady from West Virginia is recognized to speak on her amendment.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. In West Virginia, 27% of children and 33% of children under the age of 5 live in poverty. The pandemic has caused many Americans to lose their jobs and put more parents and children into poverty. This is an opportunity to work together on an issue that not only affects West Virginia, but the rest of the country as well. President Biden campaigned on cutting child poverty in half. If my friends want to direct taxpayer money to where the president intended and help us reduce child poverty, then they should support my amendment. My amendment would allocate $1 billion in new TANF pandemic emergency assistance funds, proportionately based on the number of children living in poverty in each state. As written, the bill allocates funds to states using a 50-50 formula that considers the number of children in each state and what each state spent on assistance and other benefits in 2019. Poverty is not a part of the calculation. One of the biggest issues that I have with this COVID reconciliation package is the sheer lack of effort to target additional relief to families and communities that are the most impacted. Mr. Chairman, I would like to submit for the record a memo from the Congressional Research Service that shows how much each state would get if my amendment were adopted.
Without objection.
Many of my friends on the other side of the aisle might be surprised that they represent states that would be better off under my amendment than they would be under the current approach. In fact, by voting for my amendment, the following 11 Democrats are voting for less TANF money for their states. Representative Murphy of Florida, Representative Davis of Illinois, Representative Schneider of Illinois, Representative Kildee of Michigan, Representative Sewell of Alabama, Mr. Boyle of Pennsylvania, Mr. Evans of Pennsylvania, Mr. Horsford of Nevada, Mr. Pasquale of New Jersey, Mr. Beyer of Virginia, and Mr. Doggett of Texas. My amendment would bring an additional $792,000 to my home state of West Virginia. Any American child in poverty is one too many. The memo demonstrates that this bill does not target our resources to areas where we can have the biggest impact. Let's get these resources into the hands of those who need them the most, not just the biggest states, but the states with the most child poverty. I urge my colleagues to please consider the impact this will have on their own states and their constituents and support my amendment.